Dungeons and Television took me by surprise with a concept I never really thought about. And the more I looked into it, the further I fell in love with the indie anime. There is so much that goes into realizing an idea into an animated series. But there was something that always bothered me in the back of my mind. There was almost no information about the English side of Dungeons and Television. Specifically, I mean the cast of the English dub of the anime. I wanted to know more about the behind the scenes of this project that Junchuk and Bonta put a lot of heart and soul into. I searched and searched, yet I couldn't find anything, and I had thought about it for a while. What if you just asked them yourself? A suggestion that someone told me. No, that would never work. But my curiosity knew no limit. And I had thought to myself, it's worth a shot. What could go wrong? And I reached out to one of the cast members, and something spectacular happened. I was fortunate enough to be able to invite one of the members of the English cast of Dungeons and Televisions over to talk more about the project. And I am so incredibly thankful to be able to speak to one of the talented voice actors about their journey and experiences that led up to where they are now. But enough yapping me. Grab some popcorn and get comfy as we explore a little more about the English cast of Dungeons and Television. Once again, thank you very much for allowing an interview. I know you probably are busy being a voice actor and all, but
You're so nice. Thank you.
I really am thankful because, I'm kind of just like kind of a nobody in the middle of nowhere, and you're in New York.
Think so.
You're in New
Hold
York.
on a second. I found your video though.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's true. I remember where I was. I was so shocked when you reply to. I was like, no way! One of the voice actors of like the characters in Dungeons Television.
Oh my goodness!
I think I was at work, and I was like, oh my gosh, no way! I was looking to my friends. I was like, no, this is one of the voice actors. I can't believe they saw my tweet. I was freaking out so much.
Well, you did an amazing job. First of all, I don't know if you've seen my Twitter, but I don't exactly have a lot of followers myself. I don't really build. I'd love to do more, but it's very Twitter is very I think it takes time, I guess. But
Yeah.
first of all, I really appreciated your tweet. I appreciated what you created on YouTube. You did such a thorough job talking about the show. And that's so meaningful. This is the thing people don't realize when you're a voice actor, like you pray that people watch your show because that's how you get to be. That's sort of how you get to be seen, and how there's a whole. Well, to get into the economics of being a voice actor, a lot of the work you wouldn't even know is a voice acting job. Like I've done audiobooks, or I've done loop. People do looping, which is when they do the background noises in a cartoon or in a TV show. Like jobs like this that you don't even see are done by actors. And then like the cream of the crop, the best jobs are the ones where you're like a really big visible character in a cartoon. And those jobs are for a lot of people, those jobs are few and far between. And so because of that, if you do an anime or a cartoon that gets a big following, it can be a huge boost. And that's why when you created that video on YouTube, oh my goodness, it made me so happy. First of all, I appreciated that you really understood it. You really dove deep into it. I understand you worked with Griffin too a little bit. Love him.
Yeah,
but
I was really. It was such an honor.
He's great. I was love working with him.
I was like, I really wanted to interview you too, but I feel like I might be a little too annoying or fast with everything.
Not at all. No, not at all. I'd love to do this. Well, this is the thing I mean to say is that I really appreciate that you made that video and don't ever feel like, oh my goodness, am I stepping out? Am I too annoying? Like, just ask. Just make the video. Because stuff like that is what makes the show. It can help the voice actor as well as you. I mean, there's some really big anime that come out every year, and then there's some. I've been in anime that no one has seen.
Yeah,
that's okay.
I mean, I was doing a little bit of research on the roles that you were playing. Yeah, there was a couple that I haven't heard of before. Yeah. I think the most recent one you were in Bullet, I think.
Yeah,
that one I did hear a lot of talk about online. So
Really?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're looking at it, but at least where I hang out in like anime circles, there was some talk about Bullet, and I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure Amanda Turen's in that too, and I was like, wow,
Yes.
yeah. So you're starting. I mean, you're build up.
You're so
Like,
nice. Thank you. Yeah,
no, no.
actually, no, Griffin directed me in Bullet as well.
Oh, really?
I have worked on so many projects with Griffin. I think he is an
Hmm.
amazing director. He is so
Yeah, no,
good
definitely. I
at getting
it's
an emotional performance out of an actor. That is his amazing strength.
no, definitely. I really do have a lot of respect for you all as voice actors and the stuff that you do, because I know a lot of people like want to be voice actors. So there's a lot of effort that goes into trying to
Of
be a voice
course.
actor and a lot of practice. And I mean, I've also wanted to be a voice actor, but I think sometimes I still yearn for it, but the whole video editing and like film production, that's more of a passion for me. I
That's
have a lot
cool.
more interest in it. But if I ever do have the opportunity to be able to train as a voice actor, I think I would definitely want to try. I've always wanted to be a voice actor, and I really liked having to watch a lot of cartoons or animes, and I'm like, wow, that performance is like really nice. I would like to be them one day. Um, but hopefully I am able to be a voice actor and at
Of
something at
course.
least. Um,
Oh, no, it happens. It
yeah.
actually there's a lot of indie projects out there. It can feel like look, I can't believe I'm saying this because I was just talking about a new project I'm starting, and I'm, like, so overwhelmed. Of
Hmm,
course, anything creative like this, anything that's not just, like, clocking into your job that's a regular 9 to 5,
hmm,
doing what they ask, and then going home. Anything creative like this is overwhelming when you look at the entire when you look at, like, you look at the whole mountain.
hmm,
But if you take it step by step, it really isn't you just kind of get there.
hmm,
It isn't it's a fun, it's challenging, it's very frustrating. I mean, my heart's broken, like, every day as a voice actress, and
hmm.
yet, um, like, 5 years ago, I was just, like, a random girl. I think okay, it's October 24th. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so
What?
sorry.
What?
I forgot to do my. I was gonna have like a little intro for.
Let's do your intro
I'm so
now. How do
sorry.
you we're only
I
7
was so
minutes
caught
in.
up. I was so caught up. I forgot. I'm so sorry for interrupting you. Um,
No,
sorry. So I think it went like I did a bit of practice on this. So
let's hear it.
um, welcome back, everyone, to another special video. I had an amazing opportunity to be able to interview one of the voice actresses of Dungeons and Television. And this voice actress is not only a voice actress, but also an actor, a producer, and a writer as well. And they've been in several roles, not too many, but the roles that she has been in has been stellar. Honestly, I love their performance. So if for those who might not really know who you are, would you mind introducing yourself and maybe listing some of the roles that you've been in?
Of course. Hi, I'm Amanda Turen. I play C in Dungeons and Television. I also played Noah in Bullet. I played Sophia in Ame, Warrior at the Borderline, Chico in Dropout Idol Fruit Tart. Those are my animes. I've been in a lot of cartoons for young kids and some TV shows as well. You can check me out on IMDb.
Awesome, that's wonderful. And so I took an interest in this small project, Dungeons and
Hmm.
Television, um, and I found about it through a YouTube recommendation. And
Wow.
it was during I was playing D&D, I think, and I was just
Mm.
scrolling YouTube during like a combat round. And I was like, yeah, no, I wonder what's on my YouTube. And all of a sudden, boom, there it was, Dungeons and Television official trailer, and I was like, that's interesting. I clicked on it, and like immediately I fell in love. The music, the art, the voice acting, like, and the premise itself, I was like, wow, this is a concept that I've never really seen like much at all. And I was like, all right, I got to keep my eye out on this. And I did a bit of like looking into it, and I was like, all right, is this going to be on Crunchyroll? Is this going to be on like Hulu or who knows? And I was like, wait, it's going to be on YouTube? That's
Mhm.
crazy. And then the episode released, and I was like, awesome. I watched it. It was amazing. And then the documentary released, and I was like, wow, this this is just a small indie project that one person had the idea for and was able to gather like a whole group of it to make this 5-minute episode. And I
Mm,
was like, I fell in love because there was so many interests that I had in this. I had anime interest. I love fantasy. I'm a sucker for fantasy. And
cool.
it was indie. They had a lot of, production, film stuff. And I'm currently in college for film production. And
No way.
yeah, and I love video editing. I want to get better and better at video editing, and
Cool.
hopefully I'll be able to go into a film industry, whether it's doing movies or shows or something like that.
Great.
And I was looking deeper and deeper into this. And the more I looked into the creation of this indie project that Bonta had an idea for and went for it, I fell more in love with the entire process behind like Bunta's creation, the amount of love that he put in, because there's so many projects that he did with just not making the anime, but like making the television set, making a little booklet, making little videos
Yeah.
for it as well. And I was like,
Hmm.
I was like so impressed. And I saw there was an English dub for the little 5-minute episode. I was like, really? That's interesting. I
Oh
wouldn't
yeah.
expect a small project to get like a dub with like these kind of big names as well. I was so surprised. I was like, Griffin Puatu,
I
really?
know. I
That's
know.
insane. And then I looked into some of the other voice actors and actresses in the cast as well. I was like, wow, these actors have other roles that they've been in as well. I'm so amazed. And I try to look more into what was going on the English side, but I couldn't really find much. So
Mm.
I was like, man, I really want to find out more about this. And then I was bugged to just go ask him. Go ask. No, that would never work. I was like, but maybe I'll try. And I was so shocked when Griffin agreed to an interview. And so I was like, hopefully I'll see if the one of the lead roles, C, wanted to agree to an interview as well. And so I messaged you, and you were like, "Yeah, no, sure, I'd love to." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, my heart was bursting out my chest, honestly."
You're so nice. Thank you so much. I'm just a regular person.
No,
I'm
no, no.
just a person, but that's
Mm,
so nice to hear. Yeah, I think the show's really creative, and I appreciate that you recognize it's how special and beautiful it is,
mm,
and how it is an amazing, just like what we were talking about earlier before the intro, right? Like Bunta put that entire show together. Basically, the show is one person's brainchild, and then of course at the end, right? Once you're finally in production,
mm,
dubbing with the actors is the final step. Like Bullet, I think, was in production. Creating Bullet, coming up with story, getting funding, coming up with the characters. The show's been in development for 10 years.
oh,
And I recorded it in March and April, and it came out in July.
wow.
So that tiny 4-month spread was how much the voice actors got in the creation of that show. And some other shows are different. Some shows are, they work with the actor from the start. A lot of like regular, cartoons that are in the native tongue, like English American cartoons, will start with the actor and then be animated later. But I mean, it just goes to show, of course, when we watch Dungeons and Television, we think, wow, look at this incredible show. The music is so good. I love it has an English dub. Oh my God, these actors are so great. Where they get them. Griffin is so incredible. But there was a moment where Bunta came up with the idea. Like he had a first second. There's a moment where it all started before it was what it became.
Mm,
And that's why, if you're in college thinking about wanting to pursue voice acting, loving film production, don't discredit it. You're so young. Also, I want to say that like I am busy, but it's not a lot of voice actors. You're busy doing things like pickups, you're not always doing the role. You're busy doing things like interviews, or you do conventions,
mm,
or you're busy doing things like I have to upgrade my booth, or do sort of the non-sexy part of the job.
mm,
And if you're also in film production, in addition to performance, you have a real competitive edge. You
mm.
can create your own work. And that's well, we're talking about somebody else's work right now. I mean, that's what
Yeah,
creating your own work is about.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
um, and I just wanted to kind of put the anime out into the world a little more because
Thank
I
you.
really I really do think that this is like, what's the saying, like creme de la creme of like a whole vast like anime, especially with fantasy as well, because like I don't want to be like rude to most like fantasy animes, but they're kind of like the same old, guy gets
Oh yeah, well,
put into
isekai fantasy, of course. Well,
yeah.
that is isekai fantasy is I think maybe a few years ago there was one really successful one, and since then a lot of
Mm.
anime companies have been sort of churning them out.
Yeah. But I mean, I have noticed there's been kind of like a shift in like the whole
Mhm.
fantasy genre where it's just kind of become just flat out fantasy. And I really do think that Dungeons and Television kind of shines from the rest of the fantasy animes because of just the concept of having like modern technology
Wow,
in
yeah.
like a fantasy setting. Is like it's such an interesting thing because I always love to see how would a like Renaissance period like time deal with like modern technology that we have right now. And I really love the amount of work that Bunta puts into world building a lot of how television started in the Dungeons and Television world. And I'm like, yeah, he really did think about like how the world really in how television really interacts with the world, and how it kind of goes hand in hand with each other as if it was like a normal part of the world itself.
Mm.
And I really love that little aspect of Dungeons and Television, and I really do look forward to seeing more of what Bunta has in store for us.
I
Um,
agree. I'd love the show to continue just because I
yeah.
love playing C.
Now, unfortunately, I mean, it is an indie production, so it will
Yeah.
take time for episodes to continue, but I do hope for one day to see the 100 planned episodes that Bunta has said he has in mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Me too. I hope I'm in them.
And so
Hope he
I
keeps me on.
yeah. And yeah, so I was looking into the English cast.
Cool.
And you had a good amount of roles, not only in anime but in cartoons and also in like live action stuff as well, like acting as well. And I've wondered, how did you get interest for this in the first place? How did you really
Mm.
build the interest for not only voice acting but like acting in general?
Great. This is a multi-part story. So I was even as a child, I was like born with two things I really loved. I loved acting in plays,
Hmm.
doing different voices, playing characters, and I was a weeaboo. Um, so I was a foreign exchange student in rural Japan when I was in high school. I loved Japan so much. I used to in college, I was in Japan also, did some semesters there, and I kept um and I attended NYU School of the Arts, Tisch School of the Arts for drama. So I knew I wanted to be an actress, and I also knew that I loved Japan. So what happened was I started my career. Um, I started my career and I like back at home when I was a kid, I would do community theater and summer camp and theater camp and stuff. But I wasn't a professional kid, even though I wish I had been because it would have given me such a leg up as an adult. But that's neither here nor there. I went to NYU's Tisch School of the Arts and I studied straight, regular drama. Um, my first few jobs were musical theater jobs, and I found out really early on that I could not do them. Um, I'm so impressed with anybody who does a Broadway job, or I did a touring job. I was exhausted all the time. My voice was always hoarse. Like couldn't physically, I was too exhausted. I didn't have the stamina, couldn't handle it. So I did some soul searching and I was thinking, okay, well, I don't want to stop acting, but I obviously can't be on Broadway. So what what kind of person should I be? And I figured, well, maybe I'll work on camera. So I started doing some on-camera acting, commercials, TV shows, independent films, and I thought, well, I bet I could do voiceover because voice acting, like, just commercial jobs, I could do them. That's a great way to have a day job. Maybe I'll do some voice acting. It's extremely competitive. I didn't know that. So I started doing that. My agent sent me an audition for, randomly, she sent me an audition for Weathering with You.
Oh,
And I was
really?
like, "What?"
Wow.
I was like, "I can audition," and I'd always loved so while all this was going on, going to Japan, learning Japanese, being a professional actress, being in school, while all this was going on, my favorite thing to do was go to the independent theaters in New York City, like the IFC Center or the Paris Theater, and watch anime films on the big screen. I would go to every new release. Didn't matter who the director was. I saw In This Corner of the World.
Oh,
I
okay.
saw I saw that one. I was the no offense to the creator because I think the movie was brilliant, but I was the only person in the theater.
Oh,
So,
oh,
I saw In This Corner of the World. I saw, when, Only Yesterday was finally dubbed. I saw that when it came out. I saw Studio Ghibli Fest. Every
oh,
year
wow.
I'd go. Every time they played an anime in a theater, I would go and see it because it's so special to see it on the big screen. The best is on the big screen, the best is Ponyo. It really makes a difference.
Oh,
But
really?
so I get this audition for Weathering with You, and it's like my mind was suddenly blown. I was like, oh my God, I can do anime. Wait a minute, I could be in an anime. And this was in 2019. My first job
Hmm.
was in 2021. So
Really?
it was a 2-year journey to get into anime.
Hmm.
Um, I took a lot of class and I would like look at the casts of voice actors who were in New York, and I would send them emails and be like, "Hi, I'm just a nobody. I've been in some commercials and I really want to act in anime. Can I take you out to dinner and you can tell me how to do it? Or can I take you for coffee? Or can I pay you $100 and you'll tell me how to be a voice actor? Please, I am an actress. I have an agent. I can do it." Like so embarrassing. No one replied to me.
Oh.
It's okay.
I'm
And
so sorry.
now I know all those people, those are like my friends, and I'm too shy to be like, "It was me, I sent you that email." But eventually, someone was like, "Okay, I think I can't help you." A casting director said to me, "I can't help you, but I think I know somebody who can." And it was the voice actress Erica Schroeder who went on to be my mentor.
Really?
And once I started working with her, within a few months, she trained me on how to be a voice actor because there's some skills for anime that and cartoons that aren't the same as another medium.
Hmm.
It's definitely not the same as on camera. It's not even the same as commercial voiceover. So she trained me, and within maybe a year of being her student, I was able to work. It was amazing. Oh, and COVID happened during this, so that was scary.
Yeah.
That was a big shift, but it's okay. So that is how I just so you know, again, to talk to what about what you were saying, like, I can't believe you responded to my email. Dude, I've been there, okay? I think I don't even want to admit, oh, I told every person I knew, "I'm really trying to get into anime and cartoons," and then people would say, "Oh, my friend voiced so and so. Here's his email. Oh, I think I know the voice of such and such. Here's their Instagram. You should call them. You should DM them." So I did it too to start my career. It was embarrassing, but I'm actually no, I'm proud of it because I was very humble and I don't I'm not angry that anybody ignored my emails. It was what I needed to do to get to where I am.
No, definitely. I definitely do agree with you there. I've been told, it's sure it's a little bit of a bumpy road, but build at least what my professors in college told me, building
Mm,
connections is one of the most important things you can do
yeah.
when you're headed out into the real world.
Yeah.
Because just knowing someone and them kind of like knowing you, that already has like a solid foundation for something that could happen later on in the future.
It is almost the most important thing.
Mm.
Even though well, it's not it also matters, like, being trained, knowing what you're doing, having the skills and talent, and yet there are so many people who have the skills and talent to do a role. What picks one actor over another, a lot of times it's things like I hate thinking about this. It's so arbitrary. It can be something as random as, "Oh, she totally got the joke. She totally understood the context." Even if you didn't, you just the guess that you made happened to be the right interpretation of the scene. Um, like, skills, you can always train yourself, train forever, learn all the right skills, and I this is really important. But building connections with people, getting them to know you and trust you is, I'd say, equally as important because it's one of the elements that can separate you from another talented voice actor.
Mm. And that is what I believe got you in contact with Griffin Puatu. Um, where was your first meeting? How did you both meet actually?
I'll tell you, Griffin, I think this might have been one of his first directing jobs, and it was my second anime job. Griffin and I
Really?
worked on a show called Amame, Warrior at the Borderline. Amame, Warrior at the Borderline. What's Amame? It's the name of their robot. Um, yeah, we did a show called Amame, Warrior at the Borderline. It had 2 seasons, which was cool. With a company, an anime dubbing production house called NYAV Post. So great. Griffin and I worked there. I think the show did come out on Crunchyroll. So Griffin and I worked there together. And it's this is when I knew Griffin was amazing and brilliant. As I always say, Griffin is an extremely, extremely talented actor and director. And what makes him such a good director, for me at least, in my opinion, is that because he's an actor, he's really good at directing in a way that brings the actor to the emotional place that they need to go to. He talks to actors in a way that just like, for me at least, anytime I've ever had to do like a sad, crying, emotional scene, I pray that Griffin is going to be assigned to be my director. Because, an anime show has multiple voice directors throughout the season. I've been lucky. In Ame Warrior on the Borderline and in Bullet, both characters had an emotional scene, and both times Griffin directed me. I was so happy. In Ame, my character in the last episode has this scene in a hospital where she's crying, and Griffin really made it easy for me to go to that place emotionally. I put the scene on my visual reel because it's so good.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I cannot believe he's just starting out as a director. He's already so good. And for years after that, I think he engineered a video game I was in, EDF, Earth Defense Force, World Brothers 2, baby.
Yeah.
He worked on that. He was one of the engineers. Okay, I love working with him. And then when I saw he was working on Bullet, I was so happy because I knew that I'd get some good acting. No, he's an amazing director, and I really trust him I really would trust him with anything. So he's incredible. I loved working. Our first meeting, though, was with Amame Warrior on the Borderline.
No, that's wonderful. I also can tell that Griffin has a lot of experiences with voice acting. So it really is amazing to hear that not only is he a great voice actor, he's also
one of the best. Oh, isn't he so good in what's that show? Beastars? He's so
Louis,
good.
Yeah, he plays Louis in Beastars. Yeah, he's great, honestly. He's a really good voice actor.
There was this film that came out the same year that I did Amame. The film was called oh no, I'm forgetting it. Deer King, I think was the name. The film was called Deer King. Also recorded by NYAV Post, who did all the anime I've ever done has been with NYAV Post. For the record, I would love to work with another anime studio. I love NYAV Post with all my heart. In addition to that, I'd love to work with other people too, but I'm working on that. Getting to know other anime studios, but he did this film, Deer King. He played the lead role, and he was so natural and so authentic. He is just amazing.
Yeah, he's
in every
wonderful. way. He's a really great voice actor and voice director as well.
Yeah.
I did kind of want to circle back a little bit. You mentioned that you were a foreign exchange student in Japan. Yeah. And you also seem to be fluent in Japanese as well. Which, I must make a lot of people who are into anime like pretty jealous. I'm trying to learn I'm trying to learn Japanese right now.
That's good. You can learn. I really got good after college. I finally had time. I had a private Japanese tutor, and I'm going to admit, for me, I haven't been to Japan in 3 years, which is rare. COVID really threw my schedule off. I used to go every single year to Japan, and I was like amazing at speaking Japanese. Now, I'm sure if I went back, it would return to me, but I'm a little rusty, I'll admit.
No, that's all right. I mean, you know how to speak it at least.
That is true.
I'm still trying to learn Japanese. I'm still on hiragana, and I have katakana to go through, and then kanji's next.
Oh, kanji's so tough.
Yeah, there's so
Kanji's
much.
hard.
But I have a lot of passion for like Japanese
Great.
stuff in general, and I
Wonderful.
figured
So did I growing up. I totally understand you. I
I
can
like I
relate to you
finally want to learn
completely.
Japanese.
Yeah.
So if it's not too much to ask, how was your experience with being an exchange student in
Yeah.
Japan?
It was one of the most amazing and most formative experiences of my entire life. I cannot, I mean, I don't want to age myself, okay? But it was before it was this had been invented. Okay, we
Oh,
had iPhones. We had iPhones, but we didn't it was really before the rise and proliferation of social media. So my school where I grew up in New Jersey had a sister school in Okayama, Japan, which is a seriously rural area of Japan. And I think now again, the world is so modern and connected now. The iPhone, social media has changed the world. But at the time, I couldn't even like figure out where it was when I Googled it. I just knew that the teacher was going to pick me up at the airport and take me there. And I had really been into not just anime, but also real like Japanese literature, history, traditional culture, spirituality. Again, I loved their poetry and books. I love things like tea ceremony and Japanese ancient poetry. I'm such a dork, I know. And traditional Japan. And so I think back then my favorite Japanese era, probably the Edo period.
oh, okay.
And I like the Edo period. Now I'm more of like a Taisho myself, but um my host family was so kind to me. They lived in the most beautiful traditional house in the countryside. It was like it was like my dream come true, and I prepared myself on the plane ride, longest plane ride I'd ever taken. I was like, "All right, Amanda, like, it's gonna be okay." I was only 15 years old. I was like,
Oh, wow.
"It's gonna be okay." Um, I just like we didn't really email. I'd spoken to my host brother, Koshiro, one time over email. But I was coaching myself and I was like, "You know what? Just act cool. Don't act like a nerd, okay? Like, they don't need to know that you're like a weird girl into anime and Broadway. Like, just act cool, act chill, and it's not gonna look like anime. Like, get that out of your head." Anime is a I hate to say this because it's gonna be taken out of context. Some anime is an accurate representation of Japan, okay? I
Oh
I
my
was so
gosh.
amazed. I knew it was so beautiful. The countryside, like, I mean, if you've seen like a movie like My Neighbor Totoro,
Oh,
it resembled that is
oh
where my
wow.
host family lived. They had this beautiful house built in the Edo period. They were so generous. They dressed me in kimono on my first full day in Japan. They like
Really?
presented me
Oh my
and they
gosh.
invited all my classmates to school. I had this kimono with these long sleeves. I was like, I must have died and got to heaven. This is meant to be. This is like the happiest experience of my life. And I have to confess this to you, which is um, growing up, loving the two least cool things in the world, anime and Broadway musicals. I was not very popular in school.
Hmm.
In Japan, I was the most popular girl in
Oh my
school
gosh.
for the first and only time. It was amazing, and I guess I think, one thing I really appreciate about my school in rural Japan, which I didn't have in my school in suburban New Jersey, very close to New York. My high school was close enough to New York City that everybody was trying to figure out how to drive into New York City. Anytime a kid got a license, we'd be like, "Let's drive to New York. Um, let's use a fake ID. Let's act cool. Let's take a moody picture and post it on Facebook." Like, my Japanese school friends didn't try to act too cool for school. They seemed to really be sincere, and I'll confess at the time, I was not fluent in Japanese,
Ah.
so people could have been like, "She's weird," and I had no idea. They could have been shit talking me behind my back, but I didn't feel that way. My friends people the school went crazy. My first day of school, um, people were, like, trying to Well, you've seen an anime, so it's accurate. The Japanese schools really do look like that, with all the classrooms on one side and all of the cubbies on the other side of the
Yeah.
hall, and then the shoe cubby downstairs. That's real.
Wow.
And oh my God, I remember my friends had their faces like pressed against the glass trying to see me, and is there really an
Oh
American in
my
school?
god.
And
Oh
I
man.
was like, wow, this is like a scene out of Ranma One Half or
Oh
something. I mean,
yeah.
this is, which is my favorite manga of all time,
Hmm.
is Ranma One Half. Yeah. I haven't seen the new
Oh, the
season yet.
remake?
I haven't seen the remake yet. I was really a fan of the manga, and I hear the remake is actually pretty accurate.
Yeah,
So
I've been wanting to watch that too.
yeah, I cosplayed as Ranma a couple years
Oh,
back at the
really?
anime
Oh,
convention,
wow.
but my time in Japan was so formative. It as a person, it really made me. I always relied on my intellect and my I was very defensive. I was a little mean too, as well as being a dork. I was, like, mean to my dorky friends who were a little bit below me in the social ladder, which is, like,
Oh,
didn't need to be, and people were so accepting of me in Japan, even though I mean, it's a pretty homogenous society. They were so accepting of me that it changed my ways back at home, and I started to learn Japanese seriously because I
hmm.
said, "I can't, if I'm gonna come back here, which I want to do, I'm gonna have to, if I'm really gonna have a deep relationship with my host family, my new friends, then I'm gonna have to speak their language." Because actually, I was the visitor in their country, not the other way around.
Hmm.
So, I'm really pleased to say I'm still friends with many of my Japanese school friends.
That's
And
awesome.
that is thanks to things like social media. So social media was later got really big after I was in high school, and, or just as I was finishing high school, it got really big, and we all connected with each other again in college. It was
That's
amazing.
wonderful. That's so wonderful. I find it so awesome that you were. It was just like you were living in an anime. Everyone was just
It
like,
actually
who is that? What?
It
No,
it
what?
was like that, and I sort of like, I definitely stood out. My family was really nice with me. The school did not make me wear the uniform. I still dressed nice, but I didn't have to wear the school uniform, so I really did have, like, a bit I had a kind of had anime main character syndrome. I will confess to that. I definitely looked
Oh,
like, I don't know if you've seen that meme where, they show you, like, which is the main
which is the
character in
main
the anime,
character?
and
Everyone's
it's
blended like a
one
hairstyle.
yeah, one person
Oh,
has, like, orange hair. Yeah,
oh my
that is
gosh.
correct. The school was really strict. They didn't allow people to dye their hair or anything, so I was the
Mm.
only one in school with orange hair, for sure, among some other big differences, but it was amazing, and I will say, like, anime did prepare me for a lot. The first time I ever went to a hot spring, I knew exactly what to do. You fill up the thing, you pour it over your head like
Oh
this, you
man.
I realized I learned that from Ranma One Half. Um I learned that, I came inside, I wasn't shocked to take my shoes off. I learned that from watching anime and Japanese films too.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Well,
Oh, it's great. I
that's
recommend going to
awesome.
anybody, but if you can even learn a little bit of Japanese, people will appreciate it so much, and so much more of the country will open up to you. I've been all over Japan, even to parts, some really rural, sort of esoteric areas in Japan, and those areas I think opened up to me because I learned Japanese.
That's wonderful. You just made so many people out there so jealous that you are literally living the anime life that everyone wants to do. That's that's awesome. I do want to go to Japan one day, but it's like pretty expensive. Gosh,
I know
it's
the
insane.
plane tickets are really of course, it's
Yeah.
a 12-hour flight.
But I have been saving a little bit of,
Right.
every month I've been saving a bit of my paycheck out onto the side called, Japan trip whenever.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. That's
But
exactly
we'll
right,
see.
and then when you're there, you'll be surprised at how nice you can live nicely for not too expensive, I will
Yeah,
say.
it's wonderful.
The food is really
It's
good, even the combini food is good.
gosh, your family back home must have been like worried you were in a whole different country or something.
Oh, yeah, my parents were like, "Is she okay?" My mom was like it was so hard to explain things to my parents. They were like, "Okay, so does your family, like, do they, like, wear," like, I sent them the pictures of me in the kimonos, and they're like, "Oh, do they wear that all the time?" And I was like, "No, of course not. You guys are so
uh,
dumb," but they didn't know. I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
it's whole different culture. I mean,
Of
they probably
course.
don't understand too much, especially since it was back before like social media really blew up.
Yeah, social
So
media really
yeah.
made Japan. Oh, yeah, there's some spots in Japan, okay, but, like, I don't know, I'm sure you've seen it. There's a really famous shrine in Japan called Fushimi Inari
Oh.
Taisha
Mm.
in Kyoto. It's been used in movies before, it's famous, it's a fox shrine, an Inari shrine, and it has, like, a tunnel of red gates that go all the way up to the mountain summit.
Hmm.
Um, Instagram ruined
Oh
that
no.
shrine. Like,
Oh
I
no.
I I was like the last time I went, there were so many people, and, I know I'm not gonna put it on YouTube, I'm not gonna blow up my spot, but I know a way around the crowd in that shrine.
Mm.
But I was like, "Wow, people really know about this," whereas when I was in high school, I said to my friends I was staying with a friend one time I came back for the summer vacation, and I stayed with a different friend from school. And I, like, found a picture of it printed from the internet, and I was like, "Do you think you could take me to this?" And she was like, "Gosh, I don't know. I think I've heard of that. I've heard of that place. It's in Kyoto, right? Yeah, that's like a 2-hour train ride. I think we can make it work." Um, I think oh, my cousin has a car. She'll drive us. It'll be fast. My cousin's boyfriend is a monk at the temple next door. We'll go visit him after. Like,
Oh wow.
I that was really wild. That was some private access, but, like, um, I went to the shrine, there was, like, no one there. Now, I mean, now everything is on travel blogs and
Yeah.
stuff, and so, I mean, there's a good thing to that too. I'm not just gonna complain, even though the internet blew up my spot,
Hmm.
an extremely famous shrine that's been around for over 1,000 years, my spot. Just kidding, it's not my spot, but all I mean to say is that even though the internet blew up a lot of that stuff, and social media blew up a lot of that stuff, it has made Japan more accessible overall, and I'm happy
Hmm.
about that.
Oh yeah, no. A lot of my Japanese knowledge comes from one YouTuber who goes by, I think it's like Abroad in Japan.
Mm,
Um Chris Broad, he's been living in Japan for I'm pretty sure a long time. And
yeah.
he's been all over Japan. And a lot of my like Japanese knowledge comes from him because I like anime. I got into anime, and then from there I got into Japan, and I wanted to learn a lot about Japan. And here's Abroad in Japan. He uploads videos about like various facts about
Mhm.
either not too well known Japanese locations or like locations that no one's ever heard of. And I'm like, wow, there is a lot more to Japan than just Tokyo or
Of
or
course.
some other place that
Yeah.
Akihabara or something like that. I was like, yeah, I really want to go to like the countryside of Japan. It looks so wonderful.
It's really beautiful, and the food is delicious. Oh my
Oh,
goodness, the fish is so fresh, the vegetables are so fresh. I Okayama is pretty rural. I mean, I'd say now it's like, I guess, like, I wouldn't go I think when I went there in Japan as a high school student, it was more like North Dakota. Now I would say my friend was like, "No, it's like Wisconsin now." It's
oh
moved
man,
up in the accessibility, but yeah, I actually didn't visit Tokyo until I was in after I'd gone to college,
really? Oh
and
wow.
now it's so different. Tokyo, I think it has a lot more tourists now, and
Mm,
so it's a little bit
yeah.
there's a lot more English everywhere, but it was scary when I didn't really know Japanese that well, I was just learning it, and I was in Tokyo for the first time. The subway system is terrifying. There's this
Oh
one
man.
speaking of dungeon crawler anime,
Yeah.
there's this Shinjuku station in Tokyo is known as the dungeon because it's so hard to get out, it's so hard to navigate, but Japan is amazing, and all over Japan is amazing, and one day when you do go, you'll be especially amazed by the train system, which makes the whole thing so easy to get around.
Mm.
Um, if you wanna if anybody watching this or you, I don't know if you're gonna share this.
Oh
If
no.
you are if you don't share it, fine. If you do share it, though, I will say, if you want a perfect example of what my teenhood in Japan was like, there's a Shinkai Makoto film called 5 centimeters per second. And it takes place before people were using the iPhone widely. So when these 2 kids separate, when they go to different schools, it's like, it's over. They're never gonna it's gonna be a miracle if they see each other again, if their friendship lasts. And that is how I felt as a teenager in Japan when I was in Japan,
Wow.
which is that it's a miracle. Or, like, I'd go to visit a friend, someone would put me on the train, and they'd be like, "Alright, so make sure to transfer at this station," and I'm like, "Don't speak Japanese, I'm terrified that I'm gonna mess it up." And if I mess it up, where would I go? The train station? Who was gonna the police station? Who was gonna help me? I mean, it was a different time. Alright, anyway, so that's Japan.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad we finally like progressed enough where we could use translators and stuff like that. It's a
Yes.
lot more English stuff. That'd be
Yeah.
terrifying. Yeah, no, I've played Persona 5. I know how terrible it could be.
Yeah.
No, I've heard about the like terrible like
Mm.
stations navigating through Shinjuku Station. It's insane. No, speaking of Japan, Dungeons and Television being made in Japan.
Yes.
So your role as C, I personally believe you killed it as C.
Thank you.
Like literally how she looks like, how she acts like, is you're exactly how I imagine she would sound like. She just want to all Discovery like and just be like, yeah, I wanna spread the television out to everyone. We're gonna make television so famous, everyone's gonna watch it. All these stuff on their TV everywhere at home. I'm like, you like one for one, you capture her so well, and I wanted how did you really like end up as like this voice for C? How was it
Yay.
like?
Excellent question. So, Griffin sent out a bunch of auditions to people he knew, and I sent in my audition for her. I auditioned for every role in the whole thing that I could. Um, I'm so happy that you brought up that monologue where she's like, "What?" Like the one where she's pointing like
Yeah,
this with her hand. Yeah, that speech was in the audition. That was what I do get the sense that I might have nailed it in my like, I nailed it, but I do think that my interpretation of that speech is what got me the role, because it is the heart of that's where you see who she is, who C is rather, that's where you really get a sense of her, and it's that excitement, like, yes! Um, broadcast everywhere live. I must have done broadcast everywhere live. I think I said that line like 10 times in the audition before I felt good about it, because I could tell that that was really who she was, and I wanted to make sure that it sounded. I wanted to make sure that I sounded real, also excited. So I connect with her. I'm a very enthusiastic person, so I love that. I love that speech, and I'm glad that you noticed it because
Yeah.
I think that was a big one for her.
I really thought you fared so well. Like for that in this entire 5 minute episode, I was like, wow. Like almost like every line she said, it has a sort of like excitement behind it as well. And I feel like you did really well bringing out that excitement
Thank
inside of her that
you.
explodes every time she speaks. Because she literally looks like the exact kind of character who wants to go out and explore the world and show
Yes.
everyone television and like hype for the future of television being in everyone's homes. It was so amazing. And I really love like that dichotomy between like C and the rest of the cast as well. It's really funny how C is like so hyper, so excited, and then Marta is just like, I just got kicked out of my party. It's
Yeah.
just really sad. I kind of like that little balance between them two.
I think Marta's voice I think all the voice actors are so great
Mm,
in this show. Um, in a lot of the cartoons that I do for younger kids, I play young boys. That's actually another specialty of mine, and so I love it when I can hear different actors do boys' voices in anime. I don't know the actor who plays Marta. I think they're great. I love their voice. I in Bullet, the other main character is a boy, and I think that actress, Caitlin Elizabeth, is also
mm,
fantastic
mm.
at playing a boy. So I actually auditioned for Marta, if you can believe it.
Really?
Griffin sent out an audition packet and said, like, "Okay, just send back an audition for whoever you wanna try for." And I felt good about C. I said, "Okay, well, this is probably the best role for me." But I did C, Marta, Lenny, I think is her name.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I can't remember the name of a character in my own dungeon party. What's
I
the
think
name of the character with, she has, like, a sort of gravelly voice, and she's
Shikiri,
Chikiri.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I auditioned for Chikiri too. So
Yeah.
this is a lot of some anime, you get, like, just one character to audition for.
Hmm.
A lot of times, they give you a stack of characters, and they say, "Alright, just audition for whoever you think you'll be right for." And that's entertaining to me because I'll if I get a job on the show, I'll remember how my like, you see all the you hear the other actors do their version of the other roles that you audition for, and I always find that to be really amusing.
Hmm.
Um, Dungeons and Television was an example of that, which is that I auditioned for almost every I don't think I did the director because I don't really have a mature sounding
Hmm.
voice. So I skipped that one, and I skipped Salvatore. I think Griffin plays one of the roles. I
Yeah.
definitely skipped the
Salvatore.
adult
Yeah.
grown-up men roles, but I did audition for I auditioned for Child Boy, like Marduk, he's kinda young, and then I
Hmm.
auditioned for all the other girls, the younger girls, and it's been so amusing. I mean, it's really entertaining to hear the other actors and what they did, and I'm like, "Oh, she's perfect. Of course she got Lenny." Like, you think like that. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, no, I really do think all the English cast, they like killed it at their roles. I was watching the dub. I was, yeah, these voices, they're like, this is what they would sound like. I was so
Mm.
immersed. And obviously you got the role as C, and how was it like being like playing her out, like recording her lines in the studio? How was the experience basically voicing that
Well,
character?
as you know, I love Griffin, so artistically, it was an amazing experience. If you can believe it, um, we recorded it remotely, so I used my home studio, and Griffin lives in Oregon, so he actually most anime is recorded in Texas, Los Angeles, or New York.
Hmm.
Mostly in Texas and Los Angeles. New York is kind of a satellite city, unfortunately.
Hmm.
Maybe back in the 90s during the Pokemon era, New York was a little bit more relevant, but it's just, well, whatever. It is what it is. I'd love
Yeah.
for New York to get more production, and we can always pray. But thank goodness a lot of studios are open to actors in New York working remotely from a home studio like mine. So the show is 5 minutes long,
Hmm.
which means the first episode, 5 minutes. You would think, "Okay, great." Let's say, you do the show. You can't have more than 5 minutes of lines. It's not just straight talking for 5 minutes. She's the main character. Maybe she'll have, like, a 3 minutes of acting to do. It took 2 hours to record that 5-minute episode, and of course why? Are you familiar with the process of dubbing anime?
A little bit, yeah. I've seen a little bit, but it's always a treat to kind of like get more information about and insights
So
about how it is.
your director plays the line in Japanese. Oh, first, the director gives you context about the scene. Okay, let's just be clear. There's never enough time. You're in production, there's never enough time to do anything. Okay, there's never enough time to watch the whole show and get the full story. So your director's like, okay, 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 listen, in this scene, like, she kind of likes this guy, and Griffin's really good. He doesn't do a bad, he does a great job summarizing it, but you're really excited, or it's the opening scene as well. It's the third box you've opened. It's the last box, and if the light's broken, you're hoping that it's not broken, but unfortunately it is. And so they describe the scene to you. Then they give you what's called a preview of your line. They play you your character. After the preview, you hear 3 beeps, and after the third beep, you have to read the line and try to match the character's flap to your line reading. This is really hard to do over the internet because of latency.
Hmm.
And because of that, that's the only anime dubbing that I've ever known, though, because I started my career in 2020. So during COVID, inside a studio just like this one, a home studio. So I developed a sort of ear for timing. And for me, I don't always watch the flap as much as I remember the timing of the original preview. think of how many mistakes can be made. You could go a little bit too long. You could say the wrong word because you don't get the script until you're there that day, right?
Hmm.
Oh my goodness, we did it over the internet. The internet crashed so many times. Pro Tools, the software, the recording software is famous for crashing. Like
Oh man.
we really it took 2 hours to make my role, my part of a 5-minute episode. And, I don't have a problem with that. I blocked off 2 hours. He booked me for 2 hours because we both knew we're hoping we do this in 25 minutes. It could be done in 25 minutes, but it's possible that between different takes of every line, matching the flap, Griffin is an amazing engineer. Griffin placing it in the right spot, engineering-wise, making edits to it. It might take 2 hours to do a 5-minute anime, and in this case, it did. It was an amazing experience because I love working with Griffin,
Hmm.
but it was an example of how much goes into making anime and how long how crazy it can be. I mean, it can really take a long time. Other times, you just zoom through and it's over.
Yeah, that's gotta be so challenging. But I mean, it was worth it in the end. You
Oh, and
killed it.
I
You killed
enjoyed
it.
it.
Yeah.
Well, it was 2 hours with a dude I love to work with, one of my friends. I
That
didn't
must have been
care.
awesome. Yeah, that
It
must
didn't
have been
bother me
awesome.
in the least how long it took. I had a great time with him, as always.
That was yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, but the whole 2 hours with it. That must have been. I mean, even for a 5-minute episode,
I want
I
more
can't even
I
imagine.
want 5 hours of Dungeons and Television. Wait a minute, I wanna do the show. I mean, if it gets 100 episodes, maybe that'll be 200 hours of Dungeons and
Oh
Television.
yeah. Well, hopefully we'll get 100
Hopefully.
episodes.
Yeah.
I will hope for the best though, because I really do look forward to the entire anime.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, no, I believe Griffin does like a wonderful job being a voice director because a lot of these characters, they, the way they act, the way they look, the voice like matches them like very well. And like the way they say their lines is so wonderful. It's like the actual character itself, not the person behind it, but the actual character is saying it. So I really do appreciate Griffin's like effort and his experience in directing everyone with it. It's wonderful, and the voice actors as well. Like you, Emin Sten is the voice for Marta, and
Right,
a lot of
yeah.
the other people as well. I mean, they're wonderful. I really do look forward to more of their performance, um, as well as yours as well. And I kind of wanted to ask as well. So, what are some of the like short-term goals and long-term goals you have with not only just voice acting, but probably like acting,
Thank
producing,
you.
writing as a whole?
Yeah. Thank you for asking me this. My long-term goals, I really would like to be I'd like to be a recurring or a regular character on a TV show, on camera and also in American cartoons. I love anime. Um, I wanna continue doing anime as well, but I work a lot. I mean, I work a lot more on voiceover than everything else. I'd like to work a little bit more in on camera and eventually build to working a lot in on camera. I don't know, there are a few actors who there's a lot of actors who do both, and I notice that they're the best, and I wanna join in. Um, yeah, I love historical TV shows like, Mad Men or Boardwalk Empire.
Hmm.
Um, so I'd like to do some live action acting, a little bit more live action. In the anime world specifically, my dream I already said before, I'd like to work with a few other anime studios just so that I can, meet more people, just try out different styles of directing and acting. Um, my dream is if I could have I'd really like to be in an anime, um, adapted from a Takahashi Rumiko manga.
Hmm.
She's my favorite, like, something like Ranma One Half or Urusei Yatsura. I think that
Oh,
one had a remake that, like, came and
yeah.
went. Maybe Inuyasha. I don't know. I mean, they might remake everything before I can catch up to it, but I'd love to work on something that Takahashi Rumiko wrote because
Hmm.
her manga, I've read every single one. Not in their entirety, but even the sort of obscure ones I've been able to find in, like, book sales, like liquidation, whatever, book sales, and I love her work. I love the way she draws characters. I love her sense of humor. So I love to act in an anime that is based on one of her manga.
That's wonderful. I know Urusei Yatsura had a remake.
I did.
I'm not sure if it's done yet. I only watched the first season of the remake because I've seen a bit of the original anime before. I
Yeah.
thought it was wonderful, and then for some reason I think I got a bit busy with school or something, and I stopped watching anime for a bit, and I knew they kept going on. I'm not sure if it's done yet, but I know the Ranma one half is still going.
Mhm.
Hopefully you'll be able to play in it because
I don't know. I
you
think they ran out of characters.
no, oh man.
Maybe.
I mean,
Maybe a one shot.
I think you do like a wonderful job as a voice actress, and I really would love to hear you
Yeah.
more in other animes, because you really do bring out a lot of your voice acting stuff into like some of the roles that you've been in. Because I've listened to some of the characters that you've been in, like in I think it was Dropout Pop Tart, I
Oh,
think.
fruit tart.
Fruit
Dropout.
Tart,
I
yeah.
love fruit tart.
You
Yeah,
play
that's a mouthful.
Chico, I'm pretty sure.
I did.
And I'm she's not in every episode, but the time is in on screen, you do a wonderful job playing her as
Thank
well.
you.
As
That
well
was
as
my first anime job ever.
yeah, and you killed it. I mean, honestly, I thought you were like pretty good.
Thank
Um,
you.
and I really do hope to see you more in not only just like anime, but like in medias in general, because I really do feel like you have a lot of skill and potential to be able to do a lot of the characters out there. And I really did like when Griffin was intentionally like looking out for people who like aren't like big names, but are
Mm.
kind of newish to like the voice
Yeah,
acting
oh,
scene.
totally,
I
totally.
really did respect him so much for trying to see out new talents, because voice acting, it's a very competitive sphere, and
Yes.
there's been a period where you would hear the same 8 English voice actors in like almost every
Mm.
anime, and even though they're wonderful, no disrespect to them, it sometimes can get a little tiring just hearing them over and over and over in their different anime. So being able to hear a new voice is like such a refreshing like thing to be able to experience. um
That is so nice
yeah.
to hear. I'm glad. I mean, it's like I more fans I've heard fans of anime have said that, and I feel like I think I might know maybe what you're talking about what you're talking about. I was really watching anime dubs during, like, I think probably Funimation's golden years,
Hmm.
and I heard a lot of the same people because it was so new, and Funimation was, like, doing this their style of adapting, like, the shows were so, modern. Their dubbing style was so modern, and, I really respect those actors 100%. They're legends for a reason, and, when you get an audition for a big anime, when I do, and I think a lot of other voice actors would agree with me, this thought will go through my head like, "Oh, forget it. They're gonna give this role to Stephanie Sheh. Like, why am I even trying? They're gonna give the role," like, Stephanie Sheh isn't the best example, but my friends and I used my anime loving friends and I would, and I've worked with Stephanie Sheh as a
Hmm.
director. She's amazing.
Hmm.
She's an amazing director, but, like, you have to, for me at least, I have to, when I go to do an audition, I have to, like, delete from my mind thoughts like, "Oh, forget it, Amanda. They're just gonna give it to Stephanie Sheh," or, "Just forget it. Erica Schroeder's gonna get your mentor Erica's gonna get the role." And sometimes she does. Sometimes she helps me sometimes she'll help me on an audition, and then she'll be like, "Hey, I got it." Like,
Oh man.
but at the same time, you think I think actors are sort of told or reminded like, "Well, if you were only more famous, you only had more experience, people would really wanna hear you. Ah, the fans just don't care about this show. The fans just don't care about she has no fans. Why would she be in why would she get the part?" But,
Hmm.
to hear that, I've seen a couple people have said, "We do wanna hear a different voice. We do wanna hear more of a newcomer." And this isn't to say that I'm a newcomer. I mean, I've actually been trying to do this and have been succeeding in a little bit for a long time, but well, 5 years isn't that long, I guess, in the scheme of your life, but, like, I'm not a newcomer like I was 5 years ago.
Hmm.
So, still, I find it very heartening that a fan or an anime consumer like yourself wants to hear newer voices.
Hmm.
You know, I think there's room for all of it. There's room for the traditional, the legends, and there's room for newer people. Why not? There's so many anime. There's so many of them. I mean, maybe the top 1% of anime become Ranma 1/2 or Dandadan. Another favorite of mine. Oh, I'd love to be in Dandadan.
Oh.
But, you know, like, in everywhere in between, Fruit Tart. People love Fruit Tart. A Mame. I'm not a Gundam person myself, but Gundam lovers really liked A Mame. Once I was at a wedding, and some guy was like, "Oh, like, yeah, you work in anime, that's cool. What have you been in?" I was like, "You never heard of it." And he's like, "I just watched this one called, like," it was some weird fake word, Warrior on the Borderline, and I was like,
No way.
no way! Like, people, you know, there's a niche anime. It's so abundant. There's so many anime that it's actually pretty, um there's a niche for everyone. There's a place for legends and a place for newcomers. We all belong. There's so many roles. It's all out there,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I see. But hopefully I want to see more and more of those like newcomers or maybe actors that
I'd
haven't
love
been
to
in too
become
much.
a legend, but
Yeah. I mean, I do really love a lot of these voice actors, and I also would love to hear more because, like with Dungeons and Television, it's an indie project, but they bring in a lot of new people that people have never heard of, and they show their skills and what they can do to the whole world. And just like with the dub of Dungeons and Television, there's a couple of new voice actors and actresses in there as well, and I really would love to hear more. Like Emin Stenez is a very new voice actor, as I've been told, and I thought they killed it so much with Marta. Like,
killed it.
I really would love to see them in
Amazing,
so much more.
the perfect voice for that character, I felt.
Yes, definitely.
I really, and when I auditioned for it, I was like, "Okay," you know, almost every girl voice actor has done it, and I actually don't know the gender of that actor, but every woman voice actor has been asked to do a boy's voice, and, everyone can do what their voice is able to do. You know, Erica, who trained me, voiced Luffy in One Piece, and so my boy's voice sort of sounds a little bit like a version of Luffy. Um, I always wonder, what's the boy character gonna sound like? 'Cause in anime, it's a pretty diverse voice type, and I thought that they were fantastic as Marta. It was the perfect voice for that character.
Yes, definitely. I really
I gotta
do look
find that
forward
person
to
on
it.
Instagram and say congratulations, actually.
Yeah, I really do appreciate and love the performance that M put into Marta.
Yeah.
And I not only just with Dungeons and Television, but I also do hope to see them in a lot more media because I do look forward to what M has in store for everyone. Because I believe that they can do a very wonderful job in the voice acting sphere.
Yeah.
No matter if it's anime or cartoon or any sort of like indie project, I do have a lot of hope for M and Stennis. But yeah, no, as a voice actor, I have a lot of respect for you all, and I really think you do such wonderful jobs performing and putting a lot of work in that a lot of people probably don't even have like the thought of wanting to put in. So it's really wonderful to see the amount of years that you've been just going at it as a voice actor, and not only that, as an actor as well. And
Thank you.
a lot of the effort is just it's so wonderful. And thank you so much for being able to make time for me to
It was
ask you
my
a lot of these
pleasure.
questions. You were wonderful, and I'm just really happy. I did have, however, just one more question before we
You
did
got
sign off
it.
here.
All good. Yeah.
So there was a YouTube channel that goes by, I think it's P Bonus 1214.
Oh, my mom's YouTube
Yeah.
channel.
And
Oh god,
I
did you see me
discovered
riding a horse or me
not
singing as a
only that,
child?
yeah, there is
Oh
so much
no, I'm
stage
so
performances,
embarrassed.
horsebacks. Yeah, and I looked you a lot of one of your interests I think was horseback riding, like professional horseback
Yeah,
riding.
I was a really high level horseback
I
rider
was like,
growing up.
wow. Wow,
Oh
you have
no.
so much
I'm
skill.
gonna kill my mom. I'm
So,
gonna call her. She's gonna say, "How was your interview?" I'm gonna be like, "You have to get off the internet."
And I was like,
Oh,
I can't lie, I was so impressed with this
no.
skill
Yeah,
set that you had.
is these videos of me as a teenager. Yeah, those were my Japan years. I had
Wow.
really curly hair, and I dressed really out there. Yeah, I was singing. I did a lot of stage performances at summer camp, and I was a high-level horseback rider. Yeah, P Bonus 1214 is my mom, Patricia Bonus. Actually, my mom is pretty cool. She wrote a memoir about her life. She lived in Saudi Arabia
Hmm.
before I was born, even though she's an American woman, which was pretty. I mean, I think she was actually okay with me going to Japan
Hmm.
because she was like, "Well, okay, it's safer than Saudi Arabia in 1979, but, at least she has a phone, at least I can talk
Hmm.
to her every day." One of the proudest moments of my career is my mom wrote this book, and I narrated the audiobook and played her in
Hmm.
her own book.
Yeah.
And that was cool. So I do love my mom. I'm not actually gonna kill her, but I can't believe P Bonus, yeah, that's her birthday, December 14th. But that's her YouTube channel, all right. Thank you for finding that.
Yeah,
Now
it was like, wow. I wonder why this channel has like so many videos of Amanda Turen for some reason. It's so weird. It's like, is this a stalker or something?
she's my original stalker. She is my stalker. I had to put my phone on do not disturb because I'm sure she tried to call me, even though I said, "Don't call me, I'm doing an interview."
Oh man.
Oh, man, that's so funny. Wait, she actually did call me an hour ago while I was doing
Oh,
this
I'm so
interview.
sorry. Well,
That's fine.
I guess you have
I'll
an
tell her.
interesting question to ask her after the
Yeah,
interview. Yeah, no, I wanted to ask
yeah.
how the heck did you get into horseback riding? How
My
did this happen?
mom my mom is a horseback rider, and
Hmm.
she wanted to have a hobby to share with me, her daughter, a hobby that wasn't like shopping, and I'm like, I to be honest, I wasn't really athletic as a kid. I did it, I got really good at it, but I did it mostly to be with my mom.
Hmm.
But yeah, I had 3 back to my high school years and before my middle school years, I had 3 interests that made me so uncool. I loved anime, Broadway musicals, and horses. All I was a perfect trifecta of Big Loser, but it's okay, and if anyone I hear nowadays the kids are not considered losers if they love anime, and I
No,
think
yeah,
that's
no.
great. That's how it anime's wonderful. Popular kids should like
Oh,
anime. There's something for everyone.
I remember in middle school when I first started getting into anime, I didn't start off with the traditional anime like, Dragon Ball, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. I started with an anime called www.working or Wagnaria. It's like
What? I'm Googling it right now.
it's
www.working?
it yeah, or Wagnaria. It's I think it's based off the web comic version of the series called Wagnaria or Working, and it's such a like random kind of obscure anime. I'm pretty sure it was popular
Yeah.
back then, but I was so weird. I started off so different starting with that because I think I was just on my bed scrolling on YouTube, and I got like for some reason I got an anime clip. I was like, what the heck? What is this? And I for some reason
Wow.
something inside of me clicked. I was like, I'll check it out. Fine, I'll
This is the
check it out.
best art. Yeah, I'll tell you what, my first anime ever well, I'm from that Pokemon generation,
Hmm.
but I really found it so evocative, and then I liked it way better than live action TV. Real people, like, even though I'm a live action actress now, real people disturbed me when I was growing up until I was, like, 8 years old, and then I got over it, and I started watching, like, Moulin Rouge and stuff,
Hmm.
musical movies. But as a little girl, Pokemon was like the gateway drug. Oh, and Tenchi, I'm gonna sound like you'll probably figure out how old I am. I've been trying so hard to obscure my age online. Um, but Tenchi Muyo
I've
was
heard
on
of that, man. Oh
TV
my gosh. Oh
when
wow.
I was growing up. Like, I was and it was sort of a little grown up, like, I didn't really understand it, although actually Tenchi Muyo coincidentally took place in Okayama, the
Oh wow.
random place where I was a foreign exchange student. Um, I just something about the way it was drawn, card captors I loved, the way that they looked. Anime to me felt more emotional, more evocative
Hmm.
because the characters, like they would grow from episode to episode. It wasn't just like watching Cat Dog, or which I love. I actually worked with the guy who wrote Cat Dog, and I
Yeah.
think he's the best. But, it wasn't like watching an American cartoon where the story would reset every episode. You could watch them out of order. Anime, they really grew, and you had to watch it in order, and I felt that was, I felt like I could sort of relate better. Actually, yeah, when I was, and I know where you're coming from. I knew Dragon Ball Z, but the first anime I really got obsessed with was Inuyasha,
Hmm.
and then because I loved, Takahashi Rumiko so much, and I used to watch Inuyasha every night. I had this thing called TiVo, and I would record it every night and watch
Wow.
it. Um, I loved that author so much that I got into reading Ranma One Half,
Hmm.
and I don't know, I mean, for me, like, Ranma One Half is, like, from the '80s, and I was reading it in after significantly after 2000, I was reading it, and, like, no one not even the anime people I knew about it, but that was okay. I mean, I didn't care. I read every single chapter. I love that story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a I was like really embarrassed about the fact that like this I started getting into anime through that anime. I was like,
Why? My boyfriend is into Dragon Ball Z, and I love that he loves it's wonderful to
hmm,
have someone that I found someone who loves anime,
hmm.
but sometimes I'm like, "Oh, come on, man, like, your favorite anime is Dragon Ball Z, your favorite Pokemon," he's like, "Obviously, Pikachu and Charizard." I'm like, "Oh my god, can't you pick anything? Can't you go a little
Uh,
deeper?" But
oh
it's
man.
it's all good. That's, anime has certainly exploded, and
Yeah.
I know people in the anime world way like 20, 30 years older than I am who are like, "Oh, you think you had it bad with Ranma One Half from Barnes&
Oh
and
man.
Noble?" Like, we used to have to go to a Star Trek convention, and in the corner of the convention, there might have been a Japanese anime on VHS.
Oh man.
Anime has certainly exploded, and that's a
Yeah, it
wonderful
has
thing about
definitely
it.
changed all like I'm so glad now that I could just say, yeah, I
Yeah.
watch anime and no one will bat an eye.
Yeah.
Compared to in middle school, I quite literally hid the fact that I watched and liked anime from my
Mhm.
family because like they're gonna make fun of me. This is I
Yeah,
mean
my
this is back when like it
Angel,
wasn't
I totally understand you. My family was like, "Why do you like those weird cartoons?
yeah.
Is it porn?" I was like, "It's
No,
not."
it's not. I swear. And now I have like a free rent PC right now. I have like all my
Yeah,
anime
I
stuff
noticed.
right
Okay,
there.
I see we got She in the back with her
Yeah. Oh
little
yeah.
we got Dungeons.
I bought a the Dungeons and Television booklet that Bunta was selling
That's
about
wonderful.
2 weeks ago. I was like,
That's
it came in
great.
stock. I was like, I'll finally get it, and then it finally came about. I want to say it was the same day that I uploaded Griffin Puatu's interview.
Mm. Oh, that's
It
cool. Too
came.
bad you didn't get it. Too bad you couldn't look at it with
I
him.
know it's such a
You might
shame.
know more about my character than I do.
I did a little more research with the 2 minute short that Bunta made back in 2024. Um,
About the making of the show. Was
um,
that it?
no,
No.
it was the 2 minute short film that he made that caught the attention of the Ministry of Economy, Trade, and Industry, I think, and that's what made them fund Bunta to make a series about it.
Wow.
Um, it's on his channel. It's like I think the second upload or third upload on there, but it's a 2 minute short film that Bunta made that turned into the 5 minute series that is now.
Mm.
Um, and it might be a bit too much for me to say, but I do kind of hope that short film, that 2 minute short film, also gets dubbed as
Yeah.
well. But I mean, it's a 2 minute film. I also do enjoy that because in that short as well, it's there. Bonta does also show a little bit more of what might come in the future for Dungeon television series. There's a couple scenes that are in there, but no, that one I also did really like, and I got more. I looked into his Twitter because he would talk about the show and the characters more on Twitter, and oh my gosh, it was a hassle to look all through all those tweets because they were originally in Japanese,
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
not only did they have, I think it was like Grok translation.
I was gonna say Grok translated them.
I was
All
like,
right.
I don't know if I'd really trust this, so I'd grab that Japanese text and put it in like a whole different website to
Oh,
see like, is it
Angel,
really
that's
accurate?
awesome.
I
Wait,
wanted,
that's really you really did your due
I
diligence.
really, really fell in love with Dungeon Television. I wanted to like do it justice, not with just
I'm
She,
so happy to hear that. I love it too.
yeah.
It's so good, and I'm so touched. This is what I'm talking about. Um don't ever feel like, "Oh, I'm being annoying." Animes need this stuff. There's so many anime out there, and only the top 1% of anime get advertising.
Mm,
Like, if you like, it looks like what are I'm sure you've seen the Crunchyroll, like,
mm,
top whatever anime, like, it
mm.
all looks like it's all Frieren, Demon Slayer, Dan to
Yeah.
Dan, and Dragon Ball Daima, but there's so much more anime outside of those big legendary ones,
I
and,
know. I know.
it's fan demand is what makes people really look at them.
Yeah, and with Dungeon Television as well, I feel like it has such an interesting concept, and I really want a lot more people to discover this because the not only the anime but like the process and journey that it went to create its first episode give me a lot of inspiration to kind of like seek out my goals and start going into my interest.
Yeah.
Um,
Please, you're so
yeah.
young. You already know how to use a microphone. That's like that was early for even today. I was listening back to an audition. And I was like, "Oh God, you hear me like hitting this thing?" Like I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh God, I can't believe I'm this many years into it, and I can't believe I just did that. Look, I'm still making mistakes even now." As long as you look, I had a Reddit AMA where I talked about the beginning of somebody how people say, "How do I go about becoming a voice actor?"
Mm,
And my thought is this, like at the end of the day, what makes a voice acting performance really amazing is the same thing that makes any performance really amazing, which is connecting to the material, which means you have to study acting in general. Um, when I started voice acting, I mistakenly or I was really self-conscious about how I sounded. Like, am I doing a boy's voice correctly? That's one way
mm,
to do a boy's voice. Am I doing it right? Or if I played a girl, like, do I not sound young enough? Like, and I spent a lot of time in my early career, like my early training, trying to listen to myself and feeling self-conscious about how I sounded. And that's happens to every single person and it goes away with time. But I think what made me sort of find myself as a voice actor is eventually I figured like, well, fuck it. I know how to talk. I know how to do this role. I can sound like a little girl. I can sound like a boy. Worst case is the engineer or the director goes, hey, can you take that line again? You sort of dropped out of your voice. That happens not all the time, but that happens pretty frequently if you're doing a different voice than your own. Like eventually I realized if as long as you're staying connected to the material, you're doing it. You're voice
mm,
acting. It is the same thing as regular acting, except you have to make a lot of little noises that you don't have to do in regular
mm,
acting. Like if you walk across you like make some noises when you're
mm.
walking, like
Yeah.
which you don't do on it would be very weird if you did that in a live action movie. So what I'm telling you this to say, as you look in your own passions, um, if you want my thought on where to begin would be take an acting class and also take a voice acting class because you might voice acting is such a big field. There's so many different kinds of cartoons, video games, audiobooks, TV ads, radio ads. There's so much to it that it's like impossible to do it all. You have to find the things you love and the things that speak to you. It's big. My only regret is that I didn't start earlier. I waited until Weathering with You was auditioning. That's when I started trying to be a voice actor. When I could have done it, I mean, I could have tried 5 years before then. So that's all.
I mean, it's better late than never, to be honest.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I really do appreciate that.
it's my
I
pleasure.
have a lot of respect for you all, and voice acting as a whole, I have a lot of interest in. And yeah, no, that was very informative. Thank you so much, Amanda Turen,
It
for
was
coming
my
out here
pleasure.
and
Thank you so
doing an
much for
interview.
having me, and stay in touch, okay? I have I'm gonna send you an email. Thank you so much.
Thank you
I
so much.
appreciate it.
All right.
See you later.
Thank you very much, Amanda. I'll be seeing you later.
Alright.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Oh, silly me. I literally forgot to ask Amanda where people could find her. I'm really sorry about that. But I will instead do it in her place. You can find Amanda Turen on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And you can also check her out on IMDb to see the works that she has been in. And don't forget to check out Dungeons and Television over on Jun Chukanbonta's channel, an indie series that flips the dungeon crawl formula on its head. Sorry for stealing that, Griffin. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.